Good afternoon and good morning. Today we're going to go through the English Language Proficiency Test District Test Coordinator that was given at the November collaboration event. During this presentation, we're going to go through TIDE. We're going to go through the ELPT Portal to understand the roles, understand how we can install our secure browser, become real familiar with the portal and the tools that are available, and how to access the resources for administering the English Language Proficiency Test. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the portal. This is the web address for the portal. It is the site we will use for all the administrative functions of the ELPT assessment. When you log in, when you go to that website, this is the screen you will see. It has top and left and right side navigations. We're going to go through those right now. Right along the top, you see 5 buttons. Home will bring you back to that home screen like we saw earlier. The users drop down. The system has 3 levels of users. You have test coordinators, test administrators, and technology coordinators. Resources has a number of documents for the different groups we just mentioned, the different users, and also has documents for the students and family that instructs why this test is important, why these students are taking it, and just why the test is there. We also have a list of supported ELPT browsers. You really want to make sure your technology coordinator has these and they can begin setting up their tests. And we also have a frequently asked questions document there as well that we will continue to update as we move further in the ELPT process. So back on the home screen, the left side hot buttons, we have one for each of our user levels. They bring you to a dashboard where you can choose the different systems that ELPT uses. The 2 main important ones for our district test coordinators are TIDE, which is where you'll do a lot of your test setup work, and also the online reporting system where you will pull down your reports. Once testing is over, we release reports. On the right-hand side, we have a number of other hot buttons. The list of secure browsers and where they can be downloaded from is there as well. You want to make sure you scroll all the way down because that is where the downloads are available. We have a contact. You can contact the company. The company is the American Institute of Research. They are the vendor for the ELPT assessment. We will have an online tools training that will be released. It is where students can practice using all the tools. They will see the same tools they have available to them in eDirect with the addition of the speaking and recording portion. So it's real important that students get in there. They feel real comfortable with how to do the recordings and how to hear the playback, so that way they're satisfied with their answer. We will also have important dates and announcements for ELPT. There is an order headset button. You do not have to order headsets directly from AIR. You can order them, you can use the headset you already have as long as they have a microphone. And we also have some discounted pricing that you can use. If you click at the bottom, that link at the bottom, it'll bring you to our state negotiated discounted pricing. Next, let's talk about the secure browser. The AIR secure browser must be installed on all computers that will be used for ELPT testing. The AIR secure browser does not involve any TSMs or any caching, but there is a number of steps that technology coordinators have to take both on the network side and both on the device settings side. They download secure browser. This system is works on a number of browsers as well. They're all listed here, and they will be updated as new browsers come out and they are available and released by AIR. There's an installation manual. We will make sure your technology coordinators have this information. Again, like I said earlier, there is no caching servers involved, but there is some settings on the network side and on the device side that need to be done in order to have the ELPT test run smoothly. And technology coordinators can begin their work of installing this secure browser on the student level devices. There is also a network diagnostic tool. This allows individuals to test to make sure their computers are working properly before testing. I would suggest running this before each test. It just gives you an idea, make sure your computer is technologically sound and ready for testing. It also will tell you, it also will check the recording and playback. So if you're giving that speaking, it will tell you your microphone's working good, your computer is ready for that portion of the test. We have a checklist here as well. This is a good resource to sit down with your technology coordinator before testing to make sure that everything is done for this ELPT test. Make sure they have everything they need, and that we are ready for testing on February 5th when the window opens. Let's talk about the AIR systems. AIR has two systems that we're going to overview today. One is the Test Information Distribution Engine, or TIDE. This is where you do a lot of your student level work beforehand. This is where you upload your students. This is also where you can group them. This is where you upload your TAs, your other users, your school test coordinators. This is also where you can order your materials if you should need to do that. The second system we have is the Test Delivery System. This is the physical system that students will actually log in to take the test. And we won't have too much on that today. That'll be a lot in our Part 2 session as well. So let's talk about TIDE. So things I can do in TIDE is you need to activate your new TIDE account. Hopefully you have it by now. If you don't have it, please send us an email at assessment@la.gov and we can see what's going on. You can navigate the interface. We'll understand account permissions. We'll talk about how to add users, how to add students, and then about the materials ordering information as well. So when you first log into TIDE and get your email, you'll be immediately prompted to reset your password and enter a question in case you forget your password, so that way you can have that information there as well. And anytime you need to log into TIDE, you need to go to that first portal we were at, and then you can click on the test coordinators hot button on the left side, or you can drop down the users and hit test coordinators there, or you can hit the test administrator one as well, and then you need to click on TIDE, which will always be in the top right corner. Once you're in TIDE, you log in. This is the screen you will see. You'll see preparing for testing and then administering the test. We're going to go through the preparing for testing today, and then Part 2 of the training deals with administering the test, and that is also available in the recording as well. So what can I do here? I can add my users, I can add students, I can order extra materials or order materials, I can set my settings for my students, which is equivalent to their accommodations, and we can also do rostering of students. So we'll talk about what rostering of students means in a second. The administration tasks of eDirect are generally performed on the left-hand side, and where we prepare for testing, it's very similar to eDirect, and then when we go to administer the test, and while testing is going on, it generally occurs on the right-hand side. At the top of the TIDE system, there's a banner. The banner will display the information that you see here. This is a screenshot of what ours will look like, and if you log into the TIDE browser, it will be the Louisiana version here, but all the buttons will be the same. When you log into TIDE, you click on one of the drop downs. It'll bring you to the next screen, where it will just flip the things from being side by side to being across the top. It's the same thing, gives you the same drop downs. You can complete the same functions as there. All right, let's go through the functions now. The first one being users. So before testing begins, you want to make sure your school test coordinators and any other users that need to be in the system are uploaded. You will use the user drop-down to upload users to TIDE, the TA interface, and the online reporting system. Any user that needs to get there, you can adjust their permissions as you see fit as well. You can add your users one at a time, and when you add your users, you select their role, and then you enter their email address, and then their first name and last name, and then it is submitted, and then they automatically get an email generated, same one that you got when your account was set up. After you've uploaded your users and you just want to view and edit your users, you can do that as well. You can also view your users, so you pull up a entire list of all users, and if you click on the pencil in the second column on the left-hand side, this will allow you to edit individual users. So if you need to cancel somebody's account, they're no longer with your district, you can do that as well. Let's talk about students. In students, we can add students, we can view, edit, and export our students, and we can upload our students' test settings in TIDE. So when I add my students, I need to add all my student demographic information, including race and ethnicity at one time, We will upload your students based on the October 1 count from SIS. You will be responsible for making any changes within your district. If you need to move a student that came from outside of your district, you would need to call AIR and have that student moved. And then if you need to just add a student because they came from out of state or they came from a non-public school, you can just add them directly to the system as well. If you need to just search for a student, we are searching by LASID, or you can search by first and last name as well. Once you pull up your students, you can edit your students by clicking on the pencil and edit some of their demographic information. We have limited some of the demographic information that can be edited because the information comes directly from SIS. So if you find yourself not being able to edit one of the demographic fields, that is due because that's how we have it in SIS, and the information would need to be corrected in SIS in order to be corrected here. You cannot make direct changes to SIS information in AIR. You can also upload your students using the multiple student upload. AIR does accept Excel files or CSV files. You can download the template in the upper right-hand corner, seen here, and then it will allow you to fill it out and then upload it, and then your students will be uploaded. Once you've uploaded your file, Tide will validate the file and display any errors that occur. If your file does not have critical errors, the file will upload, and then you can go back in and adjust those critical errors. If it's just one or two and you can make them really easily, it's fine. Generally, though, if you have a lot, it's easier to fix your file and re-upload because you will have to go click on each one of these individual student records. If you upload a file that has a large number of students, Tide will process that offline and then send you a confirmation email when it's complete. The next thing you can do in Tide is you can make additional materials order. Kindergarten and first grade will do part of their writing supplement on paper, and they will do another part of their writing online. So the materials for those kindergartners and first graders in order to complete the writing portion of their test. Once you make an order, you can track your shipments. You will get a tracking number to view the tracking status of a shipment to find out where it is. You can also look at packing lists as well. So once you get your, these are the three sort of windows you'll see. You'll see something that says it's scanned, meaning it's on the way. You'll also get a scheduled delivery date, and then you'll get a scheduled delivery date. When you send your materials back, you'll get the same screen as well, so you can track your documents as they return back to AIR. The next thing is the test settings and tools. These are things such as background color choices, and this is also where you're going to enter in your students' accommodations if they have any of their accommodations they should receive. Once you have the accommodations in there, you can view and edit them. You need to retrieve a student's test setting and tools, see what they have, make sure that it's appropriate for their 504 plan or their IEP. And you would make changes by clicking on the pencil that is in the second to the left column here to adjust a student's test settings. Next, we're going to talk about rosters. The roster menu, you can add your rosters, you can view your, edit, or export your rosters, and then we also allow you to upload multiple rosters by using an Excel or CSV file. You can either manually create your rosters by clicking on the Add Roster pages. Any roster you create will be used by the online reporting system to group students' assessment results for users who want categories below the school and district level. So you can use your rosters for, you can put the students in there by grade level, you can put the students in there by someone's piloting some program that you want to see how those students perform. Any of those things are good for rostering. The roster, when you create a roster, you'll get a list of your students that are uploaded that are eligible for that roster on the left-hand side, and then you click them over to the right-hand side, and those are the students in your roster. You can also remove a student from the roster by clicking the X button. It puts them back over to the students who are eligible for the roster. Once a student is in a roster, they are in that roster, and you don't have to worry about picking them again. You can also upload your rosters. Again, there are Excel and CSV files that are available. You complete those files, save them, and then upload them, and all your rosters will be created at one time. Just like with students, if you have errors in your file, it will still upload, but you will have to go in and make changes to those changes to that file before the students begin testing. Once your rosters are uploaded, you can view, edit, and export your roster pages. You can print or delete your rosters, and you can edit them, removing students or anything that you need to edit by clicking the pencil icon there as well. We have a number of resources here. The resources will be housed in the ELPT portal that we're at to begin with. Each user group has different resources, so there are resources for the test coordinators, resources for the test administrators, and resources for the technology coordinators. The technology coordinator resources are available now, and your technology coordinators can begin using their resources to set up the system. In December, we will release the test coordinator resources and the test administrator resources, so we'll be looking for those shortly. If you need any support in this, please join our weekly assessment and accountability calls. Everything we have is also in the assessment library that you need. And if you need to get in touch with us, please email assessmentla.gov or call the assessment hotline, and we're glad to help you. Thank you for your time, and if you need anything, give us a call.
This has been a presentation of the Louisiana Department of Education, copyright 2017, all rights reserved. For more information or to contact the Louisiana Department of Education on the web, go to www.louisianabelieves.com or call 1-877-453-2729.